I am Mars, and you have arrived at the place for music news, music origins, and underground music. Welcome to Musicality. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to Musicality podcast by yours truly. As stated before, Mars. As not stated before, my pronouns are they and them. Anyways, let's get into the agenda for today. Why do I sound like a teacher? Yeah. This is part 1 out of a part 2 series about music, something I love and hold dearly to me. So we will be starting with current music news, and then the topic for the day, and then about 3 songs or albums, or maybe it'll be music videos one time. Whatever I'm feeling, I will let you in on what I'm consuming in the music world. Our topic for today is underground and independent music versus the music industry. But first, let's get into current music news. Rapper Bobby Shmurda was released after 6 years in prison for illegally carrying a gun as well as conspiracy charges. I don't know about you, but this is something, I've heard people talking, they've been waiting for him to get out. So this is actually really huge information. I'm surprised, when I heard it, I was like, is this even real? Because it's kind of like a joke that people have. They'll be like, oh, Bobby Shmurda is being released and he's still in jail, but no, he's out now. And I saw he was talking about being thankful for still having 1 million followers, even though he was locked up for 6 years. So that's cool. Next, Maroon 5 and Megan Thee Stallion have collaborated on a song called Beautiful Mistakes, and it's coming out on March 3rd. You know what this is giving me? This is giving me like Maroon 5 and SZA. I'm really excited to see, not really to compare SZA and Megan Thee Stallion, but it's kind of giving me that same vibe. Someone who's more like hip hop or R&B collaborating with Maroon 5. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Maroon 5, but I feel like when they collaborate with an artist that I like, it ends up coming out pretty good. And next news, Daft Punk broke up. It's been 28 years. I had no idea. I wouldn't say I consistently listened to Daft Punk or I really knew that much about them, but 28 years is a long time. But before recording this, I did go and look at the epilogue video, and it was interesting. I really don't want to ruin it for you, but it's like a short film. It's about 8 minutes long, so I would check that out. It's like an experience. You should just go look for yourself. Lastly, Beyonce has added some new additions to her Ivy Park collection, and I mean, I wish I could get some Ivy Park, but that stuff, it's not the cheapest, and it sells out really quickly. I went and looked at the collection. It's pretty cute. Some nice stuff in there. Now we're gonna get into our main topic, which is underground music or independent music versus the music industry. This is actually something I'm quite passionate about. I feel like we're so concerned, or I guess the general population is often quite concerned with the music industry, or whatever's on the radio, whatever they're putting in your face, on YouTube recommendations, whatever's in the top 100, type 200. But we all have to start somewhere. That idea does not ignore musicians. There are people who are popular today who they started out as an underground artist, or they started out as an independent artist, and maybe they made their way into the music industry, but that's not always how it goes. It's crazy to me because I'm somebody, ever since I was a kid, I'm just the type of person who likes to follow the underground stuff. Like, sure, whatever is being pushed in your face is cool and all, but I just want to see like what's going on behind the scenes. Like, what are the people saying who maybe get like a few thousand listens or views, or even like a couple thousand. What's going on in my local community? Sometimes I feel like art gets very curated and you can take the feeling out of it. In the music industry, I feel like people who are signed will feel the need to latch on to whatever trend is there at the time. And underground artists do this too, but it's different when you're doing that on your own or with the like highly trusted team versus this person at your record label being like, well, I want you to make this song because of this, and that, because this is what's cool. When it comes to the underground and independent music side, what you're gonna get from those people who don't have a whole corporate machine behind them, they're gonna be giving you a more raw creativity. I talked about this artist in the current music news. There's Megan Thee Stallion, which she started doing ciphers and rapping around the people around her, and then she started posting rap videos in her car and freestyles, and now you see where she is today. And it's great to see your favorite artist get that type of recognition. But then, at least for me, and I know I'm not the only one, but when you're somebody who really values and has your ear to the underground music scene, you can kind of be afraid of that authenticity kind of getting lost for profit, for trends and for profit. Artists are going to change. So it's like, okay, this artist changed, but sometimes you can just see it's definitely the music industry that really changed the way that they do everything. I don't want to go too deep into that because I have other stuff I want to talk about. You might laugh, but think of somebody like Soulja Boy. I really want to get into how has this whole music thing changed over time. We're going from primarily having to be on stage. I recently watched the Britney Spears documentary, and it made me think a lot because, you know, the way that the music world is working today, it's really different. Britney Spears was somebody who performed in malls. She actually had to primarily go out there and show her face, and before she knew it, she was this huge star. It's not exactly the same these days, because when I think about what has led to what music is now, I think about Soulja Boy. That's why I said, yeah, you've heard it a lot, but literally, no, I'm serious. Soulja Boy literally, I don't know if you know about LimeWire, but LimeWire was this app where you could look up music and just like download the file, and you would just have music on your MP3 player or whatever. And Soulja Boy would put his music on there, and then he would change the title of the song into a popular song, and then he was able to get clicks and listens and popularity off of using somebody else's song. And that was just a very creative thing to do, and that's what I mean when you don't have a whole corporate machine behind you. You have to find creative ways to get yourself out there, and Soulja Boy definitely, you know, really came out at the start of what we have now. And what I mean by what we have now, I think of artists like not just Megan Thee Stallion, but there's this artist named Hook, there's this artist named Rico Nasty, and even Nicki Minaj. That's even going back a little bit farther. It's using the internet, using streaming services, using your own creativity with marketing without all of that extra stuff that people who already have a place, like celebrities, they already have the resources. We're in a time where music is it's everywhere, like literally, like it's not expensive to get it. I find it hard to even really look to whatever is the top song or whatever, whoever has the most clout, when I just think There's just so many people out there that have yet to be discovered, and that you listening to those underground and independent artists could start in your own city. And I think that's really important for art not to be this hierarchical thing that is more about status quo than the art itself. I really think when it comes to art, we should be giving more chances to the people around us who have a message, and they need to eat too. They need to pay their bills, and not everybody is gonna be a celebrity and have 1 million followers, but if somebody wants to be a musician, they should be able to pursue that and still be able to live their life. That's pretty much all I really have to say about the underground and independent music versus the music industry itself. Now to our next segment, which is what am I listening to? Oh my God. When I say I love these songs, I absolutely love these songs. I go through different phases of what type of mood I'm in. Like, what do I want the music to tell me? What do I want the music to inspire me to do? And we're going to start by talking about Underground by Radke, from their album that came out in November 2020 called Green Room. I saw Radke live, and I'm so glad that I saw Radke live. I don't regret going at all. The performance was so amazing. I had a great time. The song Underground it's funny because this is the topic for today, the underground music scene. The chorus is like break through the underground, and it really speaks to not being afraid to put yourself out there. The next song is Metamorphosis by Playboi Carti featuring Kid Cudi, and this is from his new album Whole Lotta Red. This came out in December 2020. Actually came out on Christmas. It's just another powerful song for me. Like, Metamorphosis is about not being afraid to change, not being afraid of a rebirth, because this album is about he changed his whole sound. He's just saying, yep, I'm different, so what? This is the new me. I just really love that. And last but not least, we have Southside Forever Freestyle by Megan Thee Stallion. Now, this is not really necessarily a single. It's not on the album or anything. It's a freestyle that she released on her YouTube, and I just love it. I feel like it goes really hard, but it still has a lot of vulnerability to it. She's repping where she's from. She's talking about losing her mama, her grandma, but also about standing up for herself and being true to herself and not letting people talk down on her. Well, that's all I have. Thank you for tuning in to Musicality.